All right, let's get it started for today. The name of my last video is Divorce Changed Me, Real Talk, right? That's the name of my last video or previous video. Divorce Changed Me, Real Talk. And in that video, I got a comment or a question from a subscriber. I have my notes in my right hand in case you're wondering why I keep looking to that side of the screen. The question was, what did you do and why don't you tell us that? In the video titled Divorce Changed Me, Real Talk, I go over how it changed me, the divorce, right? But I don't really talk about I didn't talk about what I did to create those changes. And as I also mentioned in that video, I did not script it at all. So in this video, I'm going to answer the question, what did you do and why don't you tell us that? These are the 7 things that I did. Number 1, well, they're not in any sequential order, so it's not necessarily the first thing, but here's number 1. I reconnected with family and friends. I'm going to get into the reason why I did these things later on. But the first thing that I did was I reconnected with family and friends. When I met up with friends, we explicitly spent time talking about our divorces or that topic in general. What I also did is I started going back to the gym more often. I started taking boxing classes because I had to do something with all my energy during that period of time. The 4th thing that I did is I spent a lot of time alone and I spent a lot of time journaling, just writing my thoughts, putting them on paper and then reading them afterwards. That's the 4th thing. The 5th thing that I did is I started dating again, not for the sake of jumping into another relationship or just for the purpose of some kind of urge to hook up or anything, but just to meet people. But I'm going to get into that a bit later. That's number 5. The 6th thing that I did was I continued the conversations that I was having with my social worker, or with a social worker, which more or less became a friend of mine, a therapist, and also my spiritual mentor or teacher, whatever you call it. That's number 6. And the 7th thing is, and I think that's one of the most difficult things, is acceptance. I actively started accepting the major change in my life. So those are the 7 things. Reconnecting with friends. When reconnecting with friends, that's number 2, explicitly talking about the situation or divorces. Number 3, going back to the gym. 4, spending time alone and journaling. 5, dating for the sake of just meeting people in general. 6, continue conversations with my social worker, therapist, and spiritual teacher. And number 7 is acceptance. Well, some of you might just end the video right here because I already mentioned all my 7 things, and that's okay. I don't really mind. But for those of you who are more interested in knowing more, I would say stay put so I can go into them a little bit further and try to make this video not too long. Reconnecting with family and friends. Well, one of the reasons that I mentioned that and that I put this on in my notes is because during divorce, I noticed that I had isolated myself. In my videos about this topic, as you know, and I'm trying to do my best not to, as they say, I'm just trying not to bad talk about other people, right? So I started reconnecting with family and friends because I noticed that I had isolated myself. Like I said in the video that I was just talking about, I had spent a lot of time just focusing on the relationship and on the marriage itself. I didn't spend that much time focusing on me, and in a certain regard, I kind of was becoming, or I had become neglectful, I had become neglectful when it comes to the connections that I had with my family and also my friends. So I reconnected with them. I got in touch with them. I told them about the situation. And by the way, what I'm telling you right now is not only stuff that I was doing after the divorce, but also during. So I reconnected with them, told them what I was going through, told them about the separation that was happening at that moment. To some people, I even apologized and I said sorry for, kind of like disappearing out of your life for a while, which was stupid. Well, it wasn't stupid that I apologized, but yeah, that I kind of neglected them. But anyway, So I reconnected with them, said sorry, and I started building back those connections again with family and with friends. And everybody was quite very understanding. They understood it. They said it's okay. And we picked it up from there. And that's one of the things I have learned is that whether you're in a relationship or not, you should never push your own people, I would say, aside for someone else. You shouldn't, because in the end of the day, you have known them since before you got into a relationship. And the most beautiful thing, and what I now am of opinion that should actually happen, is you should at least try to somehow integrate your person into that part of your life. You know, that's better. That's better than keeping yourself away from your people. It's better to integrate your person, your significant other, into your life so that they could get to know those people and you could spend time together. That's it. But enough about number one. Number two was talk with friends who are going through divorces as well. Because for me, when did it happen? For me, it's been 7 years ago. I'm going to be honest, 7 years ago, when the relationship ended, and the divorce itself took a lot longer than. It took long, but it has been 7 years ago. And during that period of time, there were few of my good friends who were going through breakups as well, marriage endings, relationship endings, children involved, property, all kind of stuff. So what really helped me was just talking about it. Of course, there's a certain amount of shame. Well, I'm saying of course as if it is obvious, but it's not that obvious. But there was a certain level of shame. But there was a certain level of shame. But just talk about it. Find friends that can support you, you know. And with friends, I would also almost say I had YouTube friends. And with YouTube friends, I mean, you know, YouTube videos can be very helpful, depending on the content, of course. But I spend a lot of time watching YouTube videos, trying to figure out what went wrong, reading certain books, so I could just get a better understanding of male and female dynamics and relationship dynamics. And in order to understand or try to get some understanding of what happened. So connecting with friends, talking about it with I would definitely say if you're a man, definitely with your male friends, because males and females experience things in a different way because we're different. We're all humans, but definitely we're different. So I would definitely say talk to your male friends and get the support from them that you need. Number three is I started going back to the gym more often. And I started doing boxing classes because there was a whole lot of built up frustration, and I had to do something with all of that energy. I would also say maybe masculine energy. You don't want to be a man going around life frustrated and angry and risking, how should I say this, disturbing others people's peace because of your frustration, you know? So that's why I started going to the gym more often. I started taking boxing classes so I could get rid of the physical energy. And it really helped. It made me a whole lot calmer, I would say. Yeah. So that's something you should do. Number four is spending a lot of time alone. I spent a lot of time alone in my new home, and also a lot of time journaling. And that's also something I mentioned in my previous video. When you spend time alone by yourself, you distance yourself from the outside world. But as much as I just mentioned, you need your inner circle of family and friends for your guidance and support. You also need to take time to reflect. And one of the main reasons why I did that and why I am mentioning that right now is to somehow help prevent you from falling into your own traps again. Otherwise, if you don't learn from the things that happen in your life, the chances are big that you will just end up doing the same. So I spent a lot of time alone, did a lot of journaling. What I did often was after I did some journaling, I used to read it after maybe a week or 4 or 5 days. And a lot of times I would be surprised with the stuff that I put down on paper. a lot of times I could not even remember it anymore. So yeah, that's one of the things I did. Number 4, and that's an interesting one. I started dating again because I was single, and I had more time for myself. So I started dating. And like I just said in the introduction to this video, I didn't start dating because I wanted to jump into another relationship or because I had this major urge to hook up. The main reason why I started dating, and for me it was fun. It was a fun period, is because I had the mindset of wanting to get to know people. That's the main reason. I wanted to get to know people, and also because I spent so much time with one person, in which I thought I had figured out, or which I had a certain level of certainty that we would be together for a longer time than we actually did, also for the sake of the children, but which turned out differently than I had expected. I thought to myself, well, I think that there's a lot that I don't know about relationships and about women. Hence, therefore, I was, starting to watch a lot of YouTube videos, as I just mentioned, started reading certain books, and started dating. So in order for me to understand women better, that's it. And I did. I learned a lot. And one of the things that, and I wrote this on my notes too, one of the things that I got to learn is that it kind of broke down, which is a good thing, my one-itis. And for those of you that do not know what that word means, I would just advise you to Google it, one-itis. And that's where you, in my own words, where you create a kind of like a unhealthy obsession towards one person. And I use the word obsession because if there are certain red flags of which you know that they're there, but you just choose to ignore them, you just ignore them, you could more or less say it becomes an unhealthy obsession and one-itis, because you end up thinking or giving yourself the illusion that the situation that you're in, even though it might be very unhealthy, that there's nothing better out there. But the dating itself taught me that it can definitely be different, and in a lot of ways also better. So yeah, that's the fifth thing I did, dating. Yeah. Number 6, as you can see, I'm just saying all of this as it is written on my notes. It's not scripted at all. And I'm new to this YouTube video making thing, so bear with me. This number 6 is 3 things in one. I continued my frequent conversations with my social worker, therapist, and also my spiritual mentor or teacher. You might ask why? Well, one of the main reasons that I started having conversations with my social worker is mainly because of the children. I have 2 kids, and during that time they were still young, and there was a lot of stuff of which I did not know for sure how to handle them. That's why also one of the things that I said in my last video is that there's a lot of things that I'm sure that you men out there that are listening to this could do yourselves, but there's a lot which you might benefit from if you would get help from. And that's definitely one of them. A social worker. She is a she, by the way, a very friendly person. I've known her for a couple of years now. We still meet with each other occasionally just to, talk about how things are going and how the children are doing. And it really, really helped me. Also because I can be stubborn with myself, and she really helped me and pushed me through, or guided me through those moments in which I was dealing with my own stubbornness, I guess. And also with just, organizing stuff, because you have to, like, divorce is not just emotion. You need to actively arrange things for yourself and for your children as well. Yeah. And she really helped with that. She really did. And I'm very thankful. I don't know if she's ever going to see this video, but I always tell her that I'm thankful for her help. The other thing that the other person that I had a lot of conversations with, and I continued that, was with a therapist. I didn't see her that occasionally. That's also a female person as well. But yeah, that helped me a lot too. That was more, I would say the social worker was more for the practical things, the stuff that needed to be arranged, and also yeah, the stuff that needs to be arranged, job wise, career wise, housing, the children, all of that. And the therapist was more, I would say, more on the emotional side because, yeah, we men have emotions too. We're not made out of stone or we're not robots. So she more or less helped me get through that as well. And also the part where it comes to the red flags and yeah. Well, I had a lot of conversations with her. As you can see, there is a lot going through my mind now. Maybe I'm going to make a separate video about that some other time. And the other one is my spiritual mentor or teacher. And you might ask yourself why? Why spiritual mentor or spiritual teacher? Well, it's because it's a guy, a male person that has a lot of knowledge, like a lot. And if you're able in life to see a situation from a spiritual perspective, that can really help you move forward as well. It really can, yeah, from a spiritual perspective, because nothing is not everything is as logical and as we maybe would like to think things are. So the knowledge that I got from him really guided me through this whole period. Yeah. And by the way, going back to number one, like when I said family and friends, I was not being, as you notice, I have not been specific about which family members or which friends or whatever. I would definitely say one of the family members, which that gave me a lot of support and guidance as well, was my own dad, my father. Thank goodness, he's still around, still going strong. And he helped me a lot too, with his knowledge. He's always very honest, brutally honest, which I very much appreciate. And it really helped me. Yeah, just talking to him. And he had noticed, as you can see, because I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, as they say. He said he had noticed certain things and red flags and had his question marks and doubts about the relationship in general. He said he had noticed it, but he just left me be. In that sense, he respected my decision and thought to himself, I had to experience what I had to and learn. And after I learned what I had to learn, he more or less told me, I told you so, which is okay. But it also, after that, made our relationship with each other better because we were able to communicate with each other on a different level than we used to do before that. Anyway, number 7, that's the last one. I really don't know how long this recording is. I don't know. And the last one is acceptance. And I think active acceptance. And I think that is definitely one of the hardest things to deal with, especially if you had decided for yourself, or definitely if this was how you had pictured your future and working towards spending, I would say, the rest of your life, accepting the fact that things are not going to be anymore, not going to be how you had imagined they would be. That's definitely one of the hardest things. Even though I was the one that walked away. I was the one that walked away out of the situation I was in. I pulled the plug, as they say. But still, even though I did that, it was quite, the acceptance took some time, definitely. And the reason why I say that's one of the most important things, or maybe the most important thing, is because if you do not accept that the relationship isn't going as you had expected it would go, or even though that you did whatever you could do, if you do not accept the fact that it has come to an end, and if you don't accept the fact that it's just not going to work out between the two of you, you run the risk of going back into the situation that you walked away from. Yeah, you run the risk. So I'm mentioning this word acceptance as number 7, but actually I could have mentioned that as number 1. That's definitely by far the most important, because especially after spending a lot of time with a person, you get used to them. And I'm not going to say it was all bad, the relationship, but towards the end, it was all bad. But the beginning wasn't just all bad. We had good times. Otherwise, you're not going to start a family and everything. But that's also, like I said, the risk and the trap into falling back and only and fooling yourself, and then just neglecting all the negativity, I would say, and keeping this blissful imaginary picture in your mind, and end up just going back to the person in order just to experience or realize it's not working. Unfortunately, that goes for some of us. For some people, they break up and then they get back together and maybe they live happily ever after. But for a lot of people, the end just means the end. And then you just need to move on, continue with your life, make the best out of it, rebuild, connect with your friends and your family, with your true purpose. For those who are spiritual or religious, it's whatever. Find your peace and happiness and guidance in that. And again, make the best out of your life. The end of your relationship is not the end of you. It's not the end of your masculinity. It's not the end of why you're here on this planet and the things that you need to do for yourself and for society. It's the end of that relationship. And it's the end of a phase in which you had to learn certain things of the other person, but especially learn stuff about yourself. Yeah. So those are the 7 things that I did that eventually helped me during my divorce, during the breakup, and also afterwards. And to be honest, are still helping me till this day right now.